Rolling.
All right, hello. Welcome to the CD release. Well, it's not quite the release yet. It's coming out in a couple of weeks. But listening party for the people who've played on the project. As you probably know, I'm Dan. This is Tyler.
Hello.
And we're just going to start playing some songs from the CD that finally got wrapped up. And it actually wrapped up, I don't know, a month or so ago.
Yep.
But I've just been... I tend to procrastinate, and haven't got things going too well. But
That's where I get it from.
Tyler did the artwork, and we submitted everything, and it should be here next week or the week after. And so we're going to start off with "Bridges Burning," which was five of the 8 songs that we recorded were old songs that I've had for quite a while, and this is probably the oldest one I've had. Actually, my friend Steve Pearson and I recorded an album in 2001, so 20 years ago, and this song took formation shortly after that. We didn't really have, well, I think we called it Perfume on a Pig for a while.
Yep.
And so we got Steve to come in and record some guitar on it. Tyler played guitar and drums on it.
Sweet.
And I sang, obviously, and played guitar, bass, and Taylor was here. He played harmonica on it, and we had Willie Walker come in and play some keyboards, and Morgan Keating sang some backups. So, without further ado, this is "Bridges Burning" by the new Moran Moran Project.
I found out a long time ago when I'm traveling down the road. If that road is long and lonely, when I cross that bridge, I know if I'm ahead of the demons that are on my tail, and I burn that bridge behind me, if I can make it to the other side, they won't be find me. Run straight and true, don't look back in fear. Ignore what you see in the rearview mirror. Light 'em up, knock 'em down. Burn those bridges to the ground. Battles I fought have left me scarred and bleeding on the highway. I'll lick my wounds, dust myself off. I won't let those scars define me. The bridges that have got me to where I am now have served their purpose well. They brought me to this promised land, miles and miles from hell. Run straight and true, don't look back in fear. Ignore what you see in the rearview mirror. Light 'em up, knock 'em down. Burn those bridges to the ground.
It's playing somewhere. All right. I can hear it playing somewhere, so I think we're we're actually
Sounds like
live
we might be
somewhere. I'm
live.
not sure exactly where, but I can hear Robin listen to it. That was Bridges Burning. Sound like a college disc jockey. Thanks for joining us. That was Bridges Burning. Tyler did a pretty freaking cool guitar solo on that. And
I had no idea what I was doing when I came into pretty much every song. A lot of them I had heard
right,
years ago,
right.
and we've kind of jammed on them here and there, and that was one of those songs, once I heard it come together, it was like a whole new
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, because it's funny because like I said, 5 of these songs I've been living with for 20 years.
Right.
And that middle part where they go dun, 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 that was always my favorite thing to play, just on acoustic guitar. So it was cool to actually hear it as a whole band.
Right.
Because that's how it sounded in my head.
But
But
then it all comes out, and
yeah,
sometimes you just have to be in the studio for all that magic to flow through
right,
it. And
right. And it was cool because, like, for me, like I said, I lived with them for a long time. And you heard some of them, but some of the guys that played on these hadn't heard them at all. And I was like, okay, here you go, play it. And like Taylor's harmonica kicked ass on that, and Willie came in with his keyboards to do 2 songs, and to him and the B3 thing that he did was just made it really cool. So, all right, so that was Bridges Burning, and actually that the lyrics on that. Like I said, that the song I had for quite a while with no lyrics, and so, people always talk about burning bridges and how it's a bad thing, but sometimes it's a good thing, if you don't. Part of this song came because I was thinking of Dave Crisafulli, who was our guitar player for a long time, and he went down a bad road, and I always thought if he didn't go back the way he came, he would still be with us, but that was... I miss Dave a lot, and yeah, I wish he didn't go back over the bridge. That he, if he burned that sucker down, he wouldn't have crossed back over it. So, anyway, that's Bridges Burning. The next song, You and I, was another song that was pretty much fully done in my head, except for lyrics, and it was the mandolin song, and that's what we called it for a long time.
Yeah,
It's
the
called the
mandolin
Mando song. And I had a hard time coming up with lyrics for it, but so on this one, it's mostly just me and Tyler playing mandolin, guitars, and there's drums. I can't even remember if there's drums on it. No, you played drums on... No, Jimmy played drums on the last song. You didn't play drums on that one.
correct.
Jimmy was a drummer. You played drums on this one. So, and Morgan Keating and Kaylee came in. Kaylee reveals, I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name, Kaylee, but Kaylee came in and saved me from, saved my lyrics. And because probably like everyone, I'm not real keen. Everyone hates their own voice. I don't.
I hate my voice.
So when I had them come in and sing with me, I had no idea what the song was going to be about, but Robin suggested it be a love song, and so it turned into a love song. So
Beauty.
this is You and I, also formerly known as the mandolin song.
The mandolin song.
You and I traveled down side by side, through all time. It's your love that I treasure. We've been taught that there's a heaven. I hope to God that it's true. If I should get there first, I will wait for you. I will wait for you. You and I shared this life, made a home with each other. More and more, we adore and rely on one another.
Again, while we were listening to that, I said to Tyler, I wish I could sing like Morgan.
Everybody wishes they could sing like Morgan.
Yeah, and Kaylee came in and hadn't heard these songs before, and she came in and
Crushed it.
kicked the hell out of it.
Yep.
It's makes me want to go back and write some more songs just for her to sing, her and Morgan, and I can sing backups for them. And again, Tyler's guitar on that was
Yeah.
cool.
So there's something cool about an acoustic mandolin with electric guitar.
Yeah,
No, that was a big thing that you wanted it to stand out.
I
and
love
it was-
I love that sound together because you don't hear it very often, and
Right.
it's a cool contrast, the crunch of your guitar and the mandolin together. It was
And that's actually one of those songs. Like when I heard you play it originally, not to offend you, but I was like, I don't know what I could play to that. And then
right.
right here in the studio, we've
Yeah.
managed to figure it out, and it became a really
Yeah.
cool sounding song.
Well, that was part of the whole process for me of being in a studio. It's so cool because some things work, some things don't.
Right.
And
There's something about it that just like brings out
yeah.
creativity, and especially the way Pete has it set up. Like it's killer.
Yeah, this was a good place to be. All right, the next song is The Ballad of Rosie June. And this one wasn't written, I only had I had 5 songs coming in. And the next 3 songs I wrote in the period that we were recording. And this one, I was out on my hammock and I had my guitar and I played 2 chords, an A minor and a D. And I just sang, Dead-Eye Dan was a wanted man. And that's all I had for the longest time. I'm like,
So you're singing about yourself.
yeah. It's like, and I think, I never intended to write a cowboy song, and then it turned into this whole 6-minute epic. And
Spaghetti Western.
yeah, well, that's once we started. I'm like, this is what I wanted it to turn into a spaghetti western and do all, and make it go big and epic. And we did.
Yeah.
It turned, like I said, I never expected to write a 6.5-minute song. I always told Robin that every song should be 2.5 minutes. and this was not 2.5 minutes. But so Tyler I played acoustic guitar and electric guitar, bass, and sang. And Tyler played electric guitar. Did you play baritone? I think you played the baritone on it.
Yep, a little bit of baritone.
And he had all these weird effects that sounded like you were playing in a hole sometimes.
Yep.
And the big reverb.
I love Vex pedals.
And we had Al Carey come in and play pedal steel. He didn't come in. He mailed it in.
Yeah.
But it was really cool.
Yeah.
And made the whole song made the whole song.
Makes me want to
sound
learn how to
westerny.
play pedal steel,
Yeah.
but I'll just leave that to Al.
Yeah, we had Jim Mahoney on drums, Willie came in, Willie Walker. Taylor played harmonica. Hey, Taylor. And Morgan sang. We did that whole gang.
Yeah, it's a nice
backup
gang
vocal.
oohs in there.
Yeah. And Pete did a whip snap. We had that. And the highlight of the song for me was Gary Young. And
We don't even have to like describe it. You'll know.
Yeah. I think it's
It's right at the beginning.
right after Wanted Man. So listen to when I say Dead-Eye Dan was a wanted man, listen for Gary Young.
You'll know it. You'll know
That's
it.
the coolest part of the whole song. So without further ado, this is the Ballad of Rosie June.
Dead-Eye Dan, he was a wanted man. His fame was known all across the land. Rumbling like a train, the thunder brings the rain. Everyone feared the name of Dead-Eye Dan, the aim of Dead-Eye Dan. Rosie June worked a red saloon. She was the kind of girl made all the cowboys swoon. She was tender as a rose, but she might just break your nose if you find yourself too damn close to Rosie June, a girl named Rosie June. Diamond Jim, he was tall and slim. He was a handsome man, but he was kinda dim. Never worked, and on his day in his life, always carried a switchblade knife. Swore Rosie Jim would be his wife, the wife of Diamond Jim, Mrs. Diamond Jim. The cards were on the table when Dan came busting in to Red Saloon on the 3rd of June. He was gunning for Diamond Jim. Diamond Jim was there, combed his slick back hair like he didn't even care that he was facing Dead-Eye Dan, the outlaw Dead-Eye Dan. You could barely see the grin on the face of Diamond Jim behind the stash of all the cash that he was raking in. The time is sure is flying. Boys, quit your crying. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, was the motto of Diamond Jim. Cheat, Diamond Jim. Rosie June walked by Jim's table when he grabbed her by the waist. Make no mistake, he was quick as a snake. He wanted himself a taste. She put him in his place when she slapped him across the face with loads of style and grace. The grace of Rosie June. Don't you mess with Rosie June. corner every afternoon at Red Salute. Rosie June, he adored her. It was a picture perfect sight as they rode off in the night. Willie and his wife, Rosie June, a girl named Rosie June, his love, Rosie June.
All right, that was the Ballad of Rosie June featuring professional ocarina player Gary Young. Gary also played guitar in that, I believe.
Yeah.
And
But more importantly, the ocarina.
yeah, that just makes the whole song. And Pete's whip crack at the end.
Yep.
And
He did that in studio. It's scary.
yeah, he almost took out Morgan's eye. And again, it was that was a lot. That was probably the most fun song to try to play because I've never played a Western song before or a cowboy song,
Right.
especially not a 6.5-minute cowboy song. But
And as soon as you said that you were looking for that like spaghetti western, I immediately was like, I know what pedals I'm using. I already
you
got
go.
that sound, and like Gary Young was here when I first played it,
yeah,
and he was like blown away. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm more blown away by the ocarina. So
yeah, that was my probably my favorite part of the whole thing was his ocarina playing. Good job, Gary. Okay, the next song is "The Peddler's Daughter," and that was another one that I wrote during the process. Again, it just started with the first line of the chorus. I'm in love with the peddler's daughter, and then I found a lot of words that rhymed, a lot of phrases that rhymed with daughter, but none of them were really like. Well, peddler's daughter apparently is not an easy woman to be in love with because it's all the things that rhyme with daughter are fodder, cotter, slaughter,
martyr.
yeah.
Otter.
So but it was another fun song to play because obviously with the Pop Farmers we play a lot of Irish songs, and
we play at the peddler's daughter.
we play at the Peddler's Daughter. So shout out to the Peddler's Daughter. If you want to use this song as a commercial, I'll be glad to sell it.
We'll gladly take royalties.
So Tyler played. Did I play? You played mandolin in it, and I did the mandolin solo. And we actually, like, the good thing about this project for me was that it started off as just me and Tyler. We were going to come in and do stuff, and then, because he can play a lot of instruments, I can play some, not as many as him. And then what we couldn't play or didn't want to play, we would call in our friends to play. And that's why neither one of us could play harmonica. That's why Taylor played harmonica. And so on this one, I could have played bass, but we were sending the song out to California for Bob O'Burns to play accordion on, and I figured, well, since we're already shipping it there, I don't need to play bass. Tracy is a kick-ass bass player. She could do it. Tracy Burns, Bobo's wife. And also while I was there, we had met, when Robin and I lived in California for a little while, we met Gio Hennessy. She's a really good fiddle player and plays in Irish bands. So I texted her, see if she would play fiddle on it, and she gladly played it, and she did a great job with it. Morgan sang backups on it again. I sang lead. I think I played acoustic guitar on it.
Yep.
And, you played mandolin. I don't think I played mandolin on it. So again, this is The Peddler's Daughter.
Peddler's Daughter.
And yeah, check it out.
Paddy McGee was a peddler of great renown.
Are we actually playing
He peddled his wares from town to town. In an old jaunty wagon filled to the brim, trinkets and to some other guy. So every week when they come to town, I grab my money and I'd lay it down. I spent every shilling that I had. Week after week, we'd play that game. She'd take all my money, forget my name. But little by little I'll wear her down, until that day she finally comes around. She'll look at me and she'll know I'm in love with the peddler's daughter, like a drowning man trying to tread water, like a lamb being led to the slaughter. I'm in love with the peddler's daughter. As hard as I tried, she resisted my charms, until that one night she fell into my arms. In that sweet moment she let down her guard. We kissed and we rolled underneath the stars. She looked deep into my eyes and knew I'm in love with the peddler's daughter. I lost every time that I fought her. She sold every gift I ever bought her. But I'm in love with the peddler's daughter. I loved her much more than I oughta. I'm in love with the peddler's daughter.
All right, that was the Peddler's Daughter, and again, that was Gio Hennessy on violin, and Bobo and Tracy from the Fallen Stars on accordion and bass. Pete actually played drums on that one, and Tyler did mandolin, and I played guitar and sang. And again, actually, I want to skip back to the Rosie June song again for a second. I forgot to mention that when I first started writing it, it was a it was going to be a love triangle, and I didn't know how it was going to work out, and it turned out instead of being a love triangle, it ended up being a love square.
Yeah.
And with the piano player coming in at the end, that part was written specifically with Willie Walker in mind. So Willie, that was for you. And he came in, and when the band dropped out and he played that kind of ragtime piano thing on the end of it.
Crushed it.
That was awesome.
Exactly what we were hearing too.
Thank you,
in our
Will.
heads. So
Okay. Okay, Peddler's Daughter, that was really cool. And so the next one is also an Irish one that I wrote, and Pour That Kid a Whiskey. And this one started off because a while back I had this lyric in my head, just the first verse. I drank my first whiskey when I was just a lad, and my mother sent me to the pub to try to find my dad. That's all I had. And I was like, okay, how can I make that work? And so it was fun just to, that took me a long time to, if you saw my notes from when I wrote it, it's like stuff scribbled everywhere and crossed out in pages, and trying to write down words that rhymed, and it was tough, but I was pretty happy with how it came out. And every song that we did so far had like a little part that was just like my favorite part that I wasn't expecting, and your part on when Call My Next of Kin. Every time I hear it makes me laugh. And when I first started doing it, I sang it the first time, and I said, I forget what the line was, but I went.
Like to kick his butt.
Yeah, I was trying to rhyme mass, and I didn't want to say ass because I didn't want my granddaughters to hear it. So I said, wanted to kick his butt, and Tyler's like, "You can't do that." so I changed it, and then I sang it, and then he came in and said, "I want to sing that part, the Call My Next of Kin part." I'm like, all right, do it. I thought you were going to sing it.
Yeah, I didn't tell him what I was doing. I was laughing the whole time when I was trying to tell you that I was going to.
When I heard it. So, again, Pour That Kid a Whiskey. It's a pop farmer song, basically. Tyler, we both played mandolin on it. He did the solos, both the guitar and mandolin solo. Gary Blaisdell played bass and baritone guitar. Jimmy Mahoney on drums. Me I just played acoustic guitar and mandolin and sang it. And so, anything you want to say about Pour That Kid a Whiskey?
Oh, enjoy.
This is our the first single off. Pour That Kid a Whiskey.
Yep.
I drank my first whiskey when I was just a lad. My mother sent me to the pub to try to find my dad. We woke up Sunday morning, he was nowhere to be found. He'd spent the whole night before down at the Fox and Hound. She said, bring your father home so we can go to mass. But I could tell just by her tone she'd like to kick his ass. My father saw me coming as I walked in through the door. He slapped the barkeep on the back and he roared a mighty roar. He said, pour that kid a whiskey and put it on my tab. I became a father the day he called me dad. Pour that kid a whiskey, make it tall and make it straight. Today is his birthday, and I'm pretty sure he's 8. He was knocking back pints at the pub with his mates, solving all the world's problems at a fantastic rate. I drank the whiskey down, my throat began to burn, my eyes began to water, and my stomach took a turn. I held on to the bar as the room began to spin, and I called out, somebody please call the next of kin. I said, Dad, we have to get you home as quickly as we can. He said, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, son, today you are a man. He said, pour that kid a whiskey and put it on my tab. I became a father the day he called me dad. Pour that kid a whiskey, forget the beer and wine. Today is his birthday, I think he might be 9. He said, pour that kid a whiskey and put it on my tab. I became a father the day he called me dad. Pour that kid a whiskey, don't you stop till I say when. Today is his birthday, and that little bastard's 10.
Pop Powers. All right, that was Pour That Kid a Whiskey. Again, both the Tyler's solos on that were awesome. And
Thank you.
yeah, while we were listening to it, I remembered I wanted to get Jesus, Mary, and Joseph in the song somehow, so that worked out well. And again, Tyler's Call My Next of Kin thing just kills me every time I hear it. When we did our live stream and you weren't here, I had to sing that line, and it wasn't
Just
as good.
wasn't the same. You just got to sound really drunk. That
Really
was the whole
drunk.
point. If you're drinking whiskey the whole song, you got to sound really drunk for that.
Yeah, and again, I don't know. Apparently, there's no rules to songwriting,
No.
And because in the chorus and that, obviously, everything changes from I think he might be 9. Pretty sure he's 8. But I wasn't trying to be clever, but I was like, hey, that was pretty good.
Yeah, you're pretty clever.
I tried to come up with things that rhyme with 8, 9, and 10. So,
Yeah.
Okay, the next song, May. This song I had, it was another old one that I had. And about 8 years ago, I took it up to Gary Young's house and had Morgan come, and we were in the studio, and I taught Gary what how I wanted to play it, and for the life of me, I couldn't come up with any lyrics for it. And we had Morgan came up, and he's sitting in the other room. Gary and I played it 2 or 3 times, and he comes in with his notebook. He goes, "Okay, I got something." I'm like, you're an asshole. Like, I've been trying for years to write lyrics, and he comes in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, well, whatever it was, 5 minutes, hearing the song twice. So anyway, this song I only did I do anything? I played guitar on it, and that's all I did. And then I wrote the music for it, but Tyler played bass because I could have played bass on it, and I said, "Oh, well, here, you try it." He played bass. He played totally different than I would have, and it was really cool. It was beyond me. And I think Pete played drums on the main part of it.
Yep.
And then in the kind of psychedelic bridge part, when Tyler was going off with his pedals, he also played drums on that part.
Yep.
Gary Young played guitar, and when this song doesn't have vocals on it, you can hear Gary Young's guitar, because when people play guitar, they sound you sound like you, but Gary Young sounds like Gary Young.
Yep.
And
It's got a very specific style.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure what this song is about.
It's about someone named
It's
May.
about somebody named May, I think.
Or the month of May.
The month
I don't
of
know.
May. And,
that's up to Morgan to decide,
yeah.
and he doesn't need to tell us. It could be his secret.
And Morgan sang the main part. He harmonized with himself, and I had him do part where he screamed, and Tyler didn't like it, so he took it out.
It's still in there. We
kind of
faded
settled
it
it down
a little bit.
But anyway, this is May, featuring Morgan Keating on vocals. And again, I wish I could sing like Morgan, but I can't. So this is Morgan.
Maybe May is the female version of Morgan.
Could be. And even with the lyrics, I don't know what.
No, I was
She invites me to be someone. May she accepts me like no one else. I pray this is more than a passing storm. May she invites me to be someone. But they can't see what she's done to me. Let them fools believe what fools
right, that was May featuring Morgan Keating on the vocals. Yeah, he was. That was another song that I've had for years, and it just, like I said, I couldn't figure out what the hell to do with it on vocals, and so I just said, Morgan, you do it," and he did it, and it sounds awesome. And that trippy part in the middle, I don't know what you were doing with.
Yeah, just a couple of effects pedals.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing about this is that when we started writing the stuff, I was like, I'm gonna have to tone back my style a lot because I got a lot of weird stuff that I like to do. Like when I did soundtrack work, I was always doing weird sounds and whatnot, and all these crazy pedals, and then bring them in here, and I can apply them, and they actually work, and make it a little haunting. And listen to that breakdown section with headphones.
Yeah.
You can hear a lot of those sounds that really come through. It's a lot of interesting sounds I didn't know my pedals could make. So
you made some cool noises. All right, the next song's called "Deeper Every Day." And again, this one lyrically, I had this weird what's it called, Dadgad tuning song, and I just played it on guitar, and that's all I had was it was kind of structured. It was a beginning, a middle, and an end, but it was nothing. It didn't have any lyrics or whatever to it.
I think we originally planned for this to be instrumental.
Yeah, because it sounded cool when you played the 12-string on it, and the stuff you did in what ended up being the chorus it sounded like a chorus except without words, and like we had talked about, as a bass player first, I hear rhythm more than anything, so you hear melody more than I do. So when it comes to writing lyrics, that's why I don't know, the 3 songs that I wrote, and, from beginning to end, those 3 songs came easier rather than having for me to have songs that were already done musically and try to shove lyrics into them. Yeah. And this one I stole during what ended up being the chorus part. Tyler did this cool melody on I think he did it on the 12 string, right? Yeah. And I just sang the chorus, what ended up being the chorus on top of that.
It ended up working really well.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I'm trying to think this one. Deeper Every Day. Yeah. When it came to the chorus, I again had no idea what I was going to do, but luckily your guitar playing saved me on this one.
Made some sort of melody.
So this is Kaylee and Morgan again came in and sang backups
and did excellent job on this.
Yeah, and other than that, it was just me. I played acoustic guitar and resonator. I think you played the 12-string, right? Did you play anything else? So this was the one you played the EBO on, right?
Yeah, there's like a drone in the back that just helped fill it, and I just did an EBO, which is an electronic bow that you just hold over the pickup of the guitar. In this case, I did it on a bass.
Yeah.
And it causes the strings to vibrate on whatever note you're holding.
Yeah.
So it creates a nice undertone drone thing.
Yeah, because this is a song that had no bass and no drums. Right. And so it was just 3 guitars and vocals. And luckily, like I said, Morgan and Kaylee came in and helped me out with vocals because it works way better with them on it. But anyway, this is Deeper Every Day.
It's a rare day, the kids are all together, sitting at the table with my wife and me. They're all grown now, but in my mind I see the little kids that they used to be. And I don't know how I could love anyone more than I do right now. There's no way my heart could love somehow I fall deeper every day. I fall in love deeper every day. Run around the backyard, chasing the grandkids, spinning in circles as fast as we can. We fall down, roll in the tall grass. There's no way you could find a luckier man. And I don't know how I could love anyone more than I do right now. There's no way my heart could love anymore, but somehow I fall deeper every day. I fall in love deeper every day. It's a long flight coming home from vacation. My wife's sound asleep in the seat next to me. Her hair's a mess with her head on my shoulder. Can't help but smile as I watch her dream. And I don't know how I could love anyone more than I do right now. There's no way my heart could love anymore, but somehow I fall deeper every day. I fall in love deeper every day.
Deeper every day. I won't tell you who, but I when we first recorded this, I was like, "Is this song too sappy too sentimental?" And Tyler and Pete were like, "Yeah, it's sentimental, but it's it is what it's supposed to be." And I thought, well, maybe it's too it's too sappy. But we played it for, I won't say who it is. And I said, tell me, your honest opinion, is this too sentimental, too sappy? And it made him cry. And so I said, well, I guess that's good.
Or that means it is.
It is. But I mean, it was one of those songs that lyrically, it was about little things in your life that you see, but are really mean, really tug at your heart, And that's why the verses are all short, but that's, again, how it's supposed to be. It's not like, oh, this grand sunset over the Rocky Mountains or whatever.
Right.
It's just little things that you go, you see something happen and you go, oh.
Yeah, it's all
sorry,
family.
Sorry about that, Pete. I just hit my microphone. So that was Deeper Every Day, again, with Kaylee and Morgan on vocals on the backups that were great. All right, the last song is probably, I think was one of the ones that I had the most fun recording. Again, I had this Tyler built guitar, cigar box guitars, and for Father's Day one year, he gave me this school cigar box guitar, and I've made up a song on it. And that's the only thing I could play on it, just one song. And
That's all you need.
And again, and I think I used a lyric for this one too. I think I called it "Perfume on a Pig" too.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it kind of fits because
yeah.
the cigar box guitar is this dingy, especially the pickup that I put in. It's like
Right.
a dingy. You can never really get like a really nice sound out of it. You always get this dirty, beat up thing. So, "Perfume on a Pig" is perfect.
And I played it through that little Epiphone amp that we have, and it sounded cool together. And again, it could have ended up. I was thinking, oh, maybe we'll just make this an instrumental. I won't write any
I think
lyrics
that's how
to
it started.
And
I think we had recorded a lot of it, and then you came back was like, I've got lyrics.
yeah, because I wasn't going to write lyrics, and then it came to me. This was another one. Gary Young and I recorded it up in his studio, and we ended up scrapping a lot of it, but we kept. He played lap steel and Telecaster, and I think we both played drums, and it was, it was okay for being what it was. But then when we came back in, I wanted to do it all over, and we kept his lap steel on it, and then he came up. He has this weird noise-making box, and it's called the throbbing gristle, and it's this thing. It just makes weird noises.
Yeah.
And he put it on the song, and when he first sent it to me, I'm like, "What is this? This is just weird."
And I loved it.
And
I
Tyler loved it. And the more I heard it, the more I loved it. And so Gary ended up playing that. He used that. He played lap steel, and he played the squeeze box.
Yep.
And again,
Which sounds awesome.
And the squeeze box on it was awesome. So I played the cigar box. I think you might have played it a little bit on
A little bit, yep.
And I played bass and sang, and Tyler played baritone on it. And then initially we had Tyler played bundles, drums on a guitar case, and that was that was all I wanted. It was like, yeah, and so we're going to use that as a rhythm, the drums for it. But then Pete suggested we had Shauna Deely come in and played a washboard.
Yeah. And
made the whole song.
Yeah, and brought it all together.
Yeah,
and why we didn't think of it with the cigar box guitar, because that's usually what goes with it.
Yeah.
And then, Pete's genius brought her in and just nailed it.
Yeah. So then, and when I was trying to come up with lyrics for it, and I had a lyric about going to Las Vegas, and then there was something about, I think I initially wrote, "Take me down to the muddy river, and drop me in where it's deep and cold." And I'm like, and then I had another lyric about Las Vegas, and I'm like, there's not a lot of rivers in Nevada.
True.
But then I remembered when we lived in nearby, we were in Reno, and there was nearby the Truckee River. I'm like, oh, Truckee, that's a cool sounding name, the Truckee River. So I changed it to "Take me on down to the Truckee River," and then I didn't write a chorus for it. The chorus is just ooze, but I wanted the end of it to sound kind of churchy, and again I brought in Morgan and Kaylee, and you sang on it too when we clapped and stomped feet, and the end of it is like probably my favorite vocal part of the whole project, and again, trying to figure out ways to get different people to come in. Our friends Pat and Di, hi Pat and Di, come to all our gigs when the Pop Farmers play, almost all of them, and so trying to figure out a way to get them in, and then Stephanie and Arden and Rosie, I wanted to get them in somehow. So right at the end, whenever we play at the beach, the last thing is one more song. I'm like, I don't want to play one more song.
This doesn't give anybody license to say that now.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. We've been playing for 4 hours. I want to go home.
If you needed one more song, you should have been listening sooner.
So we brought it. I had Pat and Di and Steph and the girls actually phone it in on my phone and say, one more song. So they're the one more song chorus at the end.
The only time in history it's been acceptable.
Yeah, we were okay with it then. So again, this is the Truckee River Blues, and this is how we ended the 8 songs on the CD.
Take me down to the Truckee River, drop me in where it's deep and cold. Take me on down to the Truckee River, holy water gonna cleanse my soul. Ooh. myself new dancing shoes. Take me down to the Truckee River, drop me in where it's deep and cold. Take me on down to the Truckee River, holy water's gonna cleanse my soul.
All right. That just makes me happy. The ending of that. I don't know what Morgan was yelling.
I think it was just noise.
But
Hallelujah.
The whole project was just made me happy.
Yeah.
And thank you, Peter, for having us and doing everything you did with us, and letting us make all these weird ideas happen. And thank you for doing it with me. It was
Thanks for having me. This is it's been a cool project, and I love that we got to do it with all our friends and really build some solid music out of
right.
it. So.
Got to write more songs so we can do it again. Okay, the CD should be coming out in the next week or two. As Pete suggested, we included instrumental versions of a lot of the songs. So there's 8 songs, and then I think there's 6 more instrumentals. So when it gets here, all you guys have played on it, I'll be shipping you a copy. So send me your address, and then hopefully we can do it again soon. Thank you very much for playing on it. We had a great time. Thanks, Pete, for having us. Boardz House Rules.
Thanks, guys.